I would like to now introduce Debbie Skromita.
Good afternoon. After listening to the last speech, different race, mothers with same pain. Everything that was just said, I can reiterate just as much. Anyway, my name is Deborah Skromita, and my daughter, Shannon Ray Skromita, is one of the honored silhouettes standing behind me. A few weeks back, I was humbled to be the keynote speaker for the London Abused Women's Centre in London, Ontario, celebrating International Women's Day. My words captivated over 600 people. Some said Shannon's story inspired them, and my words were powerful. Today, I hope my words send that same message to all of you here. April 18th, 2008, I knew my life was normal. I was living with my fiance and my 2 stepsons. I had a beautiful 25-year-old daughter who was raising a fun-loving 4-year-old grandson who lived not far from me. She was a City of Winnipeg employee. She was involved with her daycare, and she was a mom. They were my world. April 19th, 2008, my world was shattered. I was at the Health Sciences Center the morning of April 20th, being informed by police that my only child had been brutally beaten to death by her partner, with my grandson as a witness, telling his dad to stop. When told this, I never disbelieved it. I always had a mother's intuition. Something may happen to her, never expecting it to be this horrific. I had to accept what just happened. Accept losing your child? How do you even do that? As more details were given to me, my stomach sickened. My anger took over and all my emotions were put to the test. But a tear was not shed, and I listened. I asked how she was hurt, but because it was just a homicide, I didn't know yet. They weren't even disclosing it to me. I didn't want it public. I didn't want it on the news. I just wanted to protect her. However, the 6 o'clock news, her picture was everywhere. Her house was everywhere. My world was all over. Shannon had been hit a minimum of 15 times to her head with a hammer, all with my grandson looking on. A beautiful woman in the prime of her life, gone. She was a daughter, a friend. She had a smile that lit up a room. Like I said, she concealed her tears, but shared her smile. She also had an attitude to match, a lot like me, I think. That was my Shan. But she was a mother who lived and breathed each day to raise her son, knowing that the last thing she was probably doing was fighting to get her son to not see what was happening as she was being bludgeoned to death. I can never forgive that feeling. Unable to see her until I was allowed by authorities. I wasn't able to see her for 3 days later. When they told me to leave the hospital, I said, can I just give her a blanket? Can I just, even if she's lying in the morgue, can I give her a blanket? I want to keep her warm. I'll just sit outside the door till you release her. Please let me. No, go home, start grieving, was what I was told. Well, what choice did I have? 3 days later, I seen her at the funeral home, and the back of her head had to be sewn up for me to even view her. Her nose was swollen, her teeth, her mouth was tied up with string. She had defense wounds. After seeing that, I promised her I would do my best to tell her story and help others and realize how much they are loved and cared for. I seen her alive 2 days before. She came over for lunch. She came over, kissed me on the cheek, and said, I love you, Mom. She said, what's the matter? I said, you know what, Shan, I worry about you. I said, you just deserve better. You're such a good woman. You deserve better. I'm okay, Mom, don't worry. When she kissed me, if I could have that imprint of her kiss on my cheek, I would. I want that moment back. I want her life back. I want my life back, but memories are all I have. The reality of her story is that her partner is in prison and will be eligible for parole in 4 years. Her life was worth more than 10 years in prison. We need to change the laws and make a person's life more valuable. In some countries, if you're caught stealing, they cut off your hand. Well, if you stole the person's life here, 10 years is not sufficient. Someone said to me a while back, "Move on, Deb, don't dwell on this." Next week, it'll be 6 years Shannon has been gone. At times it feels like 6 seconds, other times 600 years. However, I have gotten stronger, more vocal, and her name is standing for something. And I'm an advocate to help other women stay alive from domestic violence. The women behind me today represent women who are loved, cared for, and remembered by so many people, their families, friends, or just strangers. People see these and may find them hard to look at, the plaques hard to read, and the people we have lost so disheartening. I also look at it as strength, courage, women of importance, a coalition of women who have meaning and a purpose. My daughter is among an extraordinary group of women, no one wanting them as a silhouette. I want my daughter in my life, being able to hug her, smell her hair, talk to her. That is not going to happen in the physical life, but she is here in spirit with me. When you leave here today, take some of this home with you. Don't consider it just an event, consider it a topic of conversation. When women need to hear this story, need to understand what the silent witness is all about. As a phrase from the clock, women have one flaw. They sometimes forget their worth. The women behind me have more worth than they will ever know. God bless them all. Thank you for letting me share my mother and daughter story. A lot of people have heard my story and some may even tire of it. Let me assure you, I need to tell this story. And when one woman stops and listens to me and stays alive, then it was the best thing I have ever done in my life since giving birth to a wonderful daughter. As I leave, I will tell you, women need to be no longer to be victims, be victorious. If you can leave, please leave. Don't think it can't happen in your own home. Shannon was at home, and when she left, she never came back. Thank you.